Hello and welcome to Xs and Skols. My name is Silas Bobendrier and I'm joined by Garret of the Football Analysis channel. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Silas. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really looking forward to diving into the Drake Maye tape.
Yeah, we're here to review some of Drake Maye's film, break down his tendencies, traits. He's been a very interesting prospect. Consensus QB2 for the majority of the year, has recently kind of experienced seemingly a fall with his draft stock due to the rise of J.J. McCarthy and Jaden Daniels for whatever personal reasons that teams or analysts may have. But yeah, I'm excited to break down who he is as a prospect.
Yeah, my thing with Drake is one of his biggest strengths from him as a prospect is his arm strength, and you'll even see on this play right here. It's a 3rd and 12 early in the game, and you'll see Minnesota's running a variation of cover 3, but Drake's going to roll out of the pocket here. He's going to be forced right tackle. The edge gets around. Drake forces he steps out on the run, throws from his own 49-yard line, and hits his receiver in stride for a touchdown. And I mean, the Allens, the Mahomes make this play, but I mean, this is a very impressive play from a 21-year-old quarterback. And Drake will be 22 at the start of the 2024 season, but I mean, to shift inside, to then take it outside, still keeping the eyes downfield. I mean, this is an NFL play right here. He's gonna feel the pressure. He's gonna step out of the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and then hits his guy in stride. This was in the middle of a 400-yard game, and I mean, what a play all around for Drake Maye.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, very impressive from the perspective of arm strength alone. The ability to be able to sense pressure like that and move, to his right and throw and hit the receiver in stride is incredible. And I think that those types of plays are why he is, so highly regarded by a lot of people as a quarterback prospect.
Absolutely, and like you said, he's a lot of people's QB2. He's been my QB2. I haven't wavered off that. I actually tinkered with Drake being QB1 early in the draft process. Caleb is now my QB1, but this play right here was one of my favorite plays. It's against Clemson. This was one of my favorite plays in all of Maye's tape. They're going to run a concept where they have I want to say it's a Dino concept, and Drake's going to be falling out of the pocket. He's falling back, and he throws a ball where only his receiver can get it while under pressure. And I mean, if we replay this, guys, there's not a lot of NFL quarterbacks that are making this throw. Like I said, obviously, when you compare the big play, the big throws, obviously you're going to think of the Mahomes and Allens, but after that, there's not a lot of guys that are making this throw. Drake's he's going to drift to the right, and he's going to, off his back foot, throw the ball 45 yards and put the ball in between the safety and the corner where only his guy can get it. I mean, like I said, he's 6'4", he's 230. When he enters the league, his arm strength is going to be up near the top of the league, and it's on plays like that when you can step off the back foot, flick your wrist, hit a hole shot, and get a touchdown. I mean, that's music to any NFL GM's ears right there.
And we've seen plenty of, in the NFL for the Vikings specifically, Justin Jefferson on those in breaking routes or on, deep crossers, where Kirk Cousins would hit him on shot plays. It's just the potential to have them paired together on that type of thing it's a very tantalizing idea.
Absolutely. And on this next play, Minnesota's coming out in a quarters look. Let's see here. Let's wait a sec here. Minnesota's coming out in a quarters look, and the one safety takes the deep over route, the Dover route, and Drake sees this happen live. So you'll see the guy at the receiver at the bottom of the screen counting it from the outside. The one receiver will be running a deep post, and Drake knows that safety's coming down to take that Dover route. So Drake has a free shot right there, and he just rips it right in. I mean, that's really good football IQ. That's good ability to be able to use his eyes to be able to bring the safety down on the Dover route, knowing the full time that he's going to be hitting the deep post. And when you have eye manipulation, go ahead and start the play here. Go ahead and start the play. You're going to see Drake bring the safety down, look to the left, come back, know the deep post is right there. And then because that corner he was playing like a deep quarter part of the field, he can't come back in front of the receiver. So can we go ahead and replay that from the first angle? I'd like to replay that from the first angle so we can really see the whole setup of this play. You're going to see the corner number 2. He's going to drop back because he's not playing man-to-man. He's not going to cut in front. So you're going to see Drake manipulate his eyes or manipulate the other DB's eyes. Look to the left, come back on the deep post, and right there, bang, 40-plus yard reception. And that's a big-time throw against Minnesota. And that's a beautiful play all around.
Yeah, and I mean there are so many plays like that that show up on tape where he's got, he's making his pre-snap reads. He's got the acuity to, determine and see what the defense is doing. Also, just a very intelligent football player. Something that I think is, incredibly underrated in his evaluation process as a prospect.
Absolutely. And one of his biggest strengths is his ability to throw the intermediate ball. Now, we see guys in the NFL, most notably of course is Russell Wilson, who he kind of just doesn't really throw the ball across the middle. Now, that might be in part to, Russell being short and everything, but even during Aaron Rodgers' final year or two in Green Bay, he wasn't throwing the ball a lot across the middle. But I want to go ahead and start this player. You're going to see Drake get absolutely drilled on this play against North Carolina State. It wasn't the best game for him, but they come with the blitz. Drake knows he's going to take a shot, and he puts the ball right in between the numbers for his receiver, where only his guy can get it. So what I want to watch here, go and start it from this angle. This is a really good angle to show what Drake's seeing. I mean, he knows the blitz is coming. And I'm going to want to replay this. So I want to go ahead and go back here from the front angle right here. Peyton Wilson, number 11, is a guy that will probably be taken in the top 50 picks. I was going through some of his tape earlier today. He is one hell of a linebacker, and Peyton Wilson is a guy that's going to be playing on Sundays for a long time. He's coming on a free blitz. He has a 10-yard head start at Drake Maye. Drake knows the shot is coming. He stays in, makes the play, and puts the ball where only his guy can get it. So right here, watch that number 11. He's gonna run around here, run around the side, and bang, knows Drake's getting shot, or knows he's taking a hit. And then, I mean, guys, that's I know it wasn't the best game for Drake against North Carolina State, as Drake, I'm going to pull up his stats here. Drake against NC State had a couple interceptions. He only completed 53% of his passes, but there's flashes in every game where you see Drake, where you see that he's going to be able to play on Sundays for a long time. And I think that's a perfect example where I know I'm going to take a shot, but guess what? I still have to give my teammate a chance to make the play.
I think that one of with this play specifically, a very interesting thing is, you see him kind of really squeeze every second or millisecond that he has in the pocket by, drifting off back away from the pressure. I think that awareness is really amazing to see. And there's been some concerns that have been raised about his footwork. But I mean, yeah, and when it comes to his arm strength as well, it's not just, being able to throw the ball far. He's got velocity, and he's also is able to make touch passes. It's just he's a very talented player, and in terms of comparison, you see things from him that you don't see from many guys, right? And I would say that I've only seen from one other college prospect, and Caleb Williams.
Absolutely. So this next play here, this is just another example, even despite not a great game. Watch number 7 down here at the corner. It's going to be a corner blitz. Drake's going to see him right now, immediately after the play starts, knows he's about to take a shot, and still layers the ball in with touch. Now, there's other prospects in this class. Michael Penix is a perfect example. J.J. McCarthy at times is a perfect example. These guys can throw that 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but a lot of the time you don't really see them take anything off for, an 86-mile-an-hour changeup. But this play right here, again, even in a not great game, Drake has enough touch to loft it in over a linebacker and to get his guy open across the middle. And obviously this is a Vikings related show, and if we're gonna have TJ Hawkinson run a dig route and run a route where he's gonna get hit across the middle, this is the type of thing you want to see. And even I like this play right here because there was, at least pertaining to the Vikings, because there was a play last year against the Raiders where Josh Dobbs, during his Linsanity run, threw a ball across the middle, Justin Jefferson. It was a hospital ball, but you can see this ball right here where Drake throws it with enough touch and his receiver is still protected. So he looks off the blitz, steps up into the pocket, and guess what? His receiver is still protected. Everything about that rep there from Drake Maye is an NFL caliber play. And that's going to be one where if he can make this consistently, guess what? He's going to be playing on Sundays for a long time. So I know, again, wasn't a great game against NC State, but guys, that play right there is a chef's kiss in terms of what you're looking for at the NFL level from a future quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, not many quarterbacks have that level of arm talent, and the willingness to throw that ball is also something that would be very much appreciated by Kevin O'Connell, for example, and the ability to find those receivers even in those harsher windows. With his supporting cast at North Carolina, his offensive line wasn't great. His wide receivers weren't great. He's got Tez Walker, who's probably his best player. They've got a good running back, but the fearlessness to throw those balls to guys like Justin Jefferson, for example, or T.J. Hawkinson, like you were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
would be just, it'd be electric.
Absolutely, and another big strength in Drake May's game, not Drake's May, Drake May's game is his mobility. He's not just a statue back there. He's not Phillip Rivers. And this play right here, you're going to see the pocket break down. So Drake steps up, and they're snapping the ball around the 6 or 7 yard line, and you're going to see him just take what the defense gives him. Nobody's open. All right, let me step up. Let me get out past the 20. Let me get a gain of 15, and in today's era, we need to see more of that. Obviously, with Kirk as our quarterback, aside from one big touchdown run against the Cardinals, watch that left guard 63 get beat right there. Drake didn't stand a chance from the beginning, but this is something that the Vikings need more of in their offense, is a quarterback that can step up and make things happen. And Kirk showed it occasionally. Granted, it was very rare, but when we replay this, you're just going to see the left guard immediately get beat, which was a common theme for Drake in 2023, not his left guard specifically, but the offensive line continuously getting beat and Drake having to play hero ball, which honestly I think is a reason that his stats, or a big reason, that his stats weren't close in 2023 to what they were in 2022. Whether your quarterback is Drake Maye or anybody, watch 63 here. As soon as the ball is snapped, watch him right here. Let's just go ahead and throw the club. Let's just go ahead and get past him. And what do? We have to step up. Drake Maye beats out Jeremiah Trotter Jr., number 54, who, by the way, will probably be a third-round pick. And instead of it being a sack or potential safety, we turned it into a gain of 15, and it moves the chains. The mobility there, along with the arm strength, along with the touch. To me, he is a clear QB2, and I love Drake Maye's tape for a lot of reasons, and these couple plays have been big reasons why.
Yeah, and he's obviously got his very exemplary traits. He's got some very exciting things, and he's received a lot of criticism for his footwork as a prospect. But you see plays like that where he steps up, he moves through traffic, he can weave around kind of defenders in the backfield occasionally. He's also a big enough to fight through contact, and at the end of that run, you see he doesn't really slide. He kind of dives forward to pick up the extra yards, and I think that's a very underrated piece of his game. He was North Carolina's leading rusher in 2022 before he was asked to just to stay in the pocket and throw the ball more this year. When it comes to the rushing quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels is the number one quarterback in this class. That is regarded as that's the dual threat guy. Daniels does not have as big of a frame as May, and I think that's something on Sundays that will be very helpful for him. Adjusting to contact at that level and the hit power of the NFL defender.
No, absolutely, and let's see what we have. Yeah, another good clip here of Drake Maye. Just again, he's gonna get out of the pocket, and it's 2nd and 7. So look, you don't want to force anything. You don't want to force a 25-yard pass. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna take it out, and let's go ahead and get past the first down. And the best part about this, despite him being 230, and we'll get to my NFL comp later, but there's quarterbacks in the NFL that at times don't protect themselves. But you see Drake Maye get out here. First off, he beats the D end in a foot race. You see number 0 right here. I think it's number 0. Or no, sorry, it was the guy coming from the other side. Anyway, keep going here. That's on me. But Drake beats him in a foot race. The linebacker ends up on the ground because Drake Maye makes a quick cut, and Drake protects himself, and that's with the slide, and that's everything you want to see from a franchise quarterback. We take 2nd and 7, and we make it a first down when there was nothing. This is a lot of I'm not going to cuss, but this is a lot of making chicken salad out of chicken. Anyway, I like this. I like this a lot in Drake Maye's game. And if nothing's not there, we're not going to force it. Although we'll get to some force balls later. But the thing that I think is a little overblown with Drake Maye's narrative is, or at least the narrative around him as a prospect, is let me confirm this real quick, but a lot of the narrative is that Drake forces passes at times, and this is a pretty perfect example here of him not forcing a ball and him taking what's in front of him and him getting his team a first down. So again, love the mobility and love the heads up play here from Drake.
When it comes to the concerns about forcing passes, I think that a lot of those are very interesting. So many of them are situational, and then it's when a habit that it's a real problem, And when I watched over some Drake Maye's tape, I did not see it, as a habit. I did not see it he probably didn't, and then he's going to go and do it again multiple times. There are times where you have to make something out of nothing. He did a really good job there, and he chose to run there. But in a lot of his tape, there was not as much of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Drake Maye is not a perfect prospect. You can see they're down 33-7 right here. And this, this is a good player. He's gonna have honestly, I think it was the biggest run of the season for him. But look, you're down 26 points in a game where your season is very much over, but your quarterback's playing down to the end here. So, I mean, look, and even at the end of this play, what's he do? He gets out of bounds. He's holding the ball with both hands. There's, like we said, we're going to go over some bad plays here in a second, but I mean, this is a 40-plus yard run, and you're seeing your hopeful franchise quarterback, at least for the Vikings' sake, make a big play. And this was obviously something that we haven't seen in the past 5 years with Kirk Cousins. No shade is intended being there. Kirk Cousins is just not a mobile guy, but he makes a guy miss in the open field, and that was around the 47-yard line, and Drake Maye goes for 35 yards after that. I mean, that's an element to the Kevin O'Connell offense that I am very, very much looking forward to seeing, and very much looking forward to having that element to his game in 2024 that we haven't had in the past couple of years.
Yeah, mobility. Yeah, like you said, we haven't had that with a consistent starting quarterback in a very, very long time. And I would be very intrigued to see with Maye specifically as a prospect how that would fit here, and the ability, a rushing quarterback or the threat of a rushing quarterback adds, and take contention or pressure off of your receivers.
Absolutely, and no, the thing is no prospect, whether it's Drake, whether it's Caleb, whether it's anybody else, no prospect is perfect, and we're going to dive into some of the weaknesses. And one of the first weaknesses is, I know at times that we did mention that hold on here, I gotta see what happens on this play. We did mention that not every prospect is perfect, and Drake will have his mistakes too, and you see this ball right here. This is one where he kind of gets the happy feet, and he has a guy open coming over on the deep over, and Drake just misses the throw. That unfortunately happened more often than you would like on tape. But when you see there he is coming over on the deep over, and I know there was a little contact from the corner there, but that didn't matter. That wasn't going to change anything. You saw Drake Maye kind of step up, and he got the little happy feet with the pressure that was coming from the defensive lineman. But unfortunately, that was a little much at times on tape. When Drake would, at times, for those plays where he would step up into the pocket and he would have a touch pass, there were other times like this where you get the happy feet and just throw a ball, and it would just simply not go where he wanted it to. And it was frustrating, and you see this right here, kind of short arms it, and right there, the ball goes incomplete.
Yeah, and with the mechanics, that has been one of the things that has fallen, under the most fire. And when it comes to that play, in specific, he does have some of those throws that he just will miss. I think that for this play, not to defend him too much here, because that was a missed opportunity, but at least he's putting the ball away where only the receiver could possibly get to it. If you're going to miss, you want to miss in a way that leaves the threat of a turnover completely it's just making sure that that's not the primary threat. Absolutely,
and that is one big thing. And unfortunately, well, like you said, if you want to miss, you want to miss where only your guy can get it. And this play right here, this is just a late read. This is a late read, and you'll see they're playing like a cover 2 man down at the bottom, but they're playing man to man up top. But I mean, this ball was miles late. And when we go from the wide angle again, it's going to go from the back angle here. But when you go from the wide angle, I mean, this unfortunately is a bad miss. And Drake kind of hesitated, and you see what happens. And if it's going to happen at the NCAA level, it's definitely going to happen at the NFL level. But even Andrew Luck threw interceptions at Stanford. It's going to happen. But when you see the receiver come to the top of his break, this ball should be out. This ball should be on him right now. Bang. And you can see, I mean, there's a lot of separation. I know there's times on tape where, I mean, if you keep this pause here for a sec, there is no separation. I'm not really going to include the running back here in this because he's, the linebacker's just picking him up. But if you look everywhere else on the screen, everybody else is blanketed. Down at the bottom, blanket. With the safety's coming over the top at the bottom, the DB has the receiver right here. And especially near the 50-yard line on the top side of the screen, that receiver is absolutely blanketed. So Drake Maye should be throwing this ball now to the guy in the hitch. He hesitates. The offensive lineman kind of comes back at him, and he kind of just steps up into it. And then you'll see now we hit play. And then this ball is just way late. And that ball should have been out not a couple seconds, but it should have been out a second earlier. And that is the thing with that. And yes, that is a negative on Maye's tape, but that's a very fixable mistake. I mean, we're not talking about Drake simply, not seeing a guy that came out of nowhere or anything. He knows he was late. He knew when he got to the sideline the mistake that he made. He knew when the ball should have came out. He knew what the read was. I mean, he made the correct read. It was just a little late. But the thing is why that doesn't worry me is, like we said, that's not something that's not fixable. And whether his NFL quarterbacks coach is going to be Josh McCown or somebody else, for the sake of this, we'll assume it's Josh McCown. But I mean, Josh would tell Drake this immediately when he got to the sideline. And there's no doubt in my mind that Drake knew immediately after this ball was released, oh crap, I shouldn't have thrown that. And that's, I mean, it happens. It happens at the collegiate level and it happens at the NFL level when guys miss throws. It's part of the game and it's going to happen, and it's a very fixable mistake.
And the Vikings are uniquely equipped, to be able to help him with those types of things with multiple former NFL quarterbacks on the coaching staff. Kevin O'Connell was drafted with the Patriots back in 2007 or 2008. He's got Josh McCown, who worked with him in high school and is now a member of the Vikings coaching staff. And yeah, for the sake of just, presuming that he will be a Viking for the video. We are a very, very good landing spot for quarterbacks to be able to work through and develop, some of the things that they've struggled with in college. And that specific clip, I noticed, he was kind of threw a fadeaway where he was, he drifts to his right. He's got his tackle being pushed back towards him, and he kind of bounces back. He's not stepping into that throw. There's not velocity on it,
right.
when you need that kind of thing for that, comeback route. And that's at the end of the day, that is a fixable thing. And, being able to work with the coaching staff of Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown would, I think really do wonders for him in that regard.
Absolutely. And this play right here, I mean, this is a forced pass. Yes, pretty clearly Drake forced the ball. He shouldn't, but I don't like this play at all. So we're going to go through this a couple times. We have a 3 receiver stack to the right. And when we replay this, what is the route combination? And I know Drake forced a ball that he shouldn't, but there's a lot more going on with this play. I'm not a fan of, especially in the red zone, especially when you're down this close to the cup, you're 3.5 or the 4-yard line, and you decide to cut off half the field on a rollout to the right. And then when we go back here, I want to pause. I'll say when to pause. Whenever this play starts and Drake he's going through, there's nobody, and it's like the whole process here is to have the guy that's at the top of what's going to be the trips formation. The whole goal is to have him kind of bring the one DB in and have him kind of have like a rub concept where the guy gets open. But there's so much going on that you're already cutting off half the field that I don't mind this if you're going to not cut off half the field. But when there's so many bodies running to one side of the field, go ahead and hit play here. What we'll see here, the guy at the top of the trips formation, or excuse me, he was on the middle. That's on me actually. But the concept was to have that DB that is right near the receiver that's getting targeted to have a little bit of a rub, have a little bit of space created by that. But then look at the safety coming down right there. This whole concept stunk to begin with. Again, technically it's on Drake for forcing a pass, but I mean, I would hope KOC wouldn't call something like this. And KOC most of the time is not this, he doesn't call this, bad of a concept in the red zone. A lot of the time when we get down into the 2 or 3 yard line and we call a passing play, a lot of the time what Kevin will do is he'll have like a crossing on each side, and Kirk would drop straight back. And I remember specifically when Adam Thielen caught his 50th touchdown pass, that it was a concept where Thielen was on a drag route and he just caught in the back of the end zone because nobody was there. You have to utilize the whole 53 yards across in the red zone and not cut off to 26.5. And it was really even shorter than that once Drake Maye kept rolling. So I didn't like this play from the start, and unfortunately Drake had to throw the ball. He had to get rid of it, but this whole thing was kind of doomed from the start.
Yeah, an interesting rep, and with also pressure, coming towards him. He's got his running back suddenly holding up against that, edge backer or whoever it was coming off the line. So yeah, the sprint out, not great. The red zone's already so condensed of a space, to work against the defense. So yeah, it's just kind of I don't like the play call, and I don't like the decision. But
no, absolutely. And this next one, we're highlighting a negative. This right here, early in the second quarter, this is, I kind of just, whenever I was watching this, I kind of just laughed because I was like, you'll see this right here. This interception, it's so fixable. We saw him earlier in a game, earlier in the video, North Carolina State. I'm under pressure. I recognize the corner blitz that's coming off the edge. I'm going to put a touch pass on a ball where only my guy can get it while protecting my guy. But what are we going to do here? We're going to roll out to the right and not put any touch on the ball at all, and just throw it right to the DB. I mean, this is, in theory, it is a negative, but it's such a fixable mistake. So I don't really worry about this. I know it's kind of like, you could say it's cherry picking. Well, you got to do this with every prospect, but I mean, there's so many times where Maye shows good touch on the ball that I don't really worry about one early season interception that he simply didn't see the guy. This isn't something that showed up consistently. Drake Maye only threw 9 interceptions in his final year. In his final 2 years, he had over 900 passing attempts. He threw 16 interceptions, or actually, excuse me, he had 950 career passing attempts, 16 interceptions in his career. Again, this is one that is so easily fixable at the NFL level that I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, a very interesting play. And I think if I'm recalling correctly, I saw a graph that was representative of quarterbacks, passer ratings from target at different portions of the field. Rolling to the right, here he just misses on that touch pass. I feel like if I recall correctly, and I may be incorrect, he struggled a little bit more on the right side of the field, or there was a noticeable drop off, which I'm certain this play didn't help with, that. But it'll be interesting to see if that's more indicative of like a mechanics type of thing, or if it was just unlucky or circumstantial, or if he just struggled in general, But just an unfortunate play here.
No, and you are right. I'm looking at the advanced numbers here. Outside right, deep right, he was 9 of 29 with 9 of 29 is less than a 33% completion compared to the outside left. Deep left, this is 20 plus yards down the field. He was 12 of 23, which is over 50%. So there definitely is some truth there. But when the splash plays are there, for instance, that Clemson play was a deep right ball under pressure off the back foot, 45 yards. I don't worry about that. But the next play, the next one right here, this is just another frustrating one where Drake does a lot of things right. You'll see him, he steps up into the pocket, evades pressure, knows he's potentially about to get hit, although he throws it before, and he simply misses the throw. And this is one that at the NFL level, you have to complete. You cannot miss this at the NFL level. In terms of Drake simply not seeing the line, or not seeing the DB on the previous play, I don't worry about that. This is one that if he is or if he goes through a lot of rookie woes at the NFL level, it's going to be because of things like this. I mean, if you miss Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison on a ball this wide open, I mean, they're going to be pissed, rightfully so, by the way. But this is one that you have to hit, and there's no reason for that. And that is a frustrating one on tape that I came away with, that I was like, Drake, you have to hit it. That's the truth behind it. You have to make that throw at the NFL level.
Yeah, you do, and his receiver, if he's consistently missing that, his receivers wouldn't be happy. He's obviously a great quarterback prospect. He was great at North Carolina, so he did a good job there in terms of making receivers happy, I'm sure. With that one, I would have liked to see him put more underneath the ball and put it further away or towards the sideline. And also, there's the he's got a defender coming up into his face, and he kind of has to short arm that. He doesn't get through his full follow through, and I think that is probably a big portion of why that play did not go well and why he missed on that. But yeah, you have to hit those throws on Sundays.
Absolutely. Now let's see here, another 3rd and 12. The thing with this play here, this is going to be a kind of, hold on here, I want to go in depth with this one a little bit here. So the thing with this one here is Drake's front shoulder kind of sailed open, and you'll see this on the front angle here. And this happens sometimes in baseball when pitchers miss up. He was trying to put a lot on this, and he simply missed up. This happens a lot of the times in baseball. Pitchers are coming through and they release the ball right here instead. They should release it right here, and because they released it a couple inches up, a couple inches make a big difference. And you'll see it right here on this play. This is just something that, again, is easily fixable. It's 3rd and 12. He's trying to make a play. He's on the road against a conference rival, and it happens. I mean, it's something that, again, is fixable. And if Drake simply just tucks that front shoulder, again, you'll see it right here. He fits it over the linebacker with a lot of zip, but if he tucks that front shoulder, it's more on target. And I understand why he had to throw it the way that he did, because he had to get it over the linebacker, and it was a tight squeeze. But that's a tough throw for any NFL quarterback, not just Drake Maye.
Yeah, and when it comes to the misses, there are more than you'd like to see, but I don't know. It's some of it coming down to mechanical issues, some of it coming down to the play breaking down around him. It'll be interesting to see how he translates at the next level with some of the things that we saw, or some of the knocks on him as a college prospect.
Right, and this is the last inconsistency we'll highlight here, but this is just, again, this is such a fixable one that if he's with Josh McCown or if he's with KOC for a week or two, a couple weeks, I mean, this is something that'll get fixed. What Drake does right here, you'll see him put his foot down, and then instead of following through right when he throws it, he kind of just does this thing where he puts his foot down and then he just goes all arm. So it's gonna be tough to kind of like show this on a replay from this like far of an angle. But watch as soon as he puts that left foot down for the final time, and he's just kind of going like all shoulder. It would be no different if I were standing here right now from the studio and just throwing it with all arm. There's no lower body into this throw at all. So I don't think it was that's something that's not fixable. That's not something that, when you talk about mechanics with Drake Maye, this is a prime example of this. This is just, if he puts his lower body into it, he hits him right in between the numbers. This is not something that's completely unfixable where he's throwing 20 yards over him and there's no rhyme or reason for it. This was just simply throw with the arm instead of put the body into it as well.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of hope for him, if he ends up in Minnesota, working on some of those mechanical inconsistencies and other things with the coaching staff that we have, which we talked about earlier. But, I think that with the talent that he has, he's obviously undeniably in my opinion, I have him as the QB2 in the class, and just that level of talent and just some of the electricity that he provides from a variety of ways, whether it's with his arm on the ground, being able to maneuver around in the pocket, that's just so exciting as a prospect. And the thought of him in the Vikings offense it's very, very fun.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's extremely fun to fantasize about, and hopefully it becomes a reality. I know I'm definitely hoping it becomes a reality, but one of my favorite just kind of advanced stats that nobody really talks about, at least not enough, is Drake Maye in his final year with North Carolina, which was obviously just 2023. He had 35 big time throws. This is per PFF. A big time throw could be classified as something. It's like that one throw against Clemson would obviously be a big time throw, but it doesn't have to be a touchdown throw. It could be like any of the other plays we highlighted. It could be that one against North Carolina State where he's under pressure, picks up the blitz, and then lofts it in. That could be a big time throw. But he had 35 big time throws to just 10 turnover worthy plays. Now, despite the uptick in interceptions from 7 to 9 on nearly 100 less passing attempts from 22 to 23, believe it or not, he actually had a lower turnover-worthy play percentage, going from 2.4% to just 1.9%. So this whole thing that Drake, he didn't have a great year in 2023, I don't buy it. I think he is a very, very good prospect, comfortably my QB2. I think it's pretty simple how he can help the Vikings. The last time that we drafted a quarterback in the first round was 10 years ago. It was Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy, I was extremely excited for Teddy, but Teddy was not a great NFL quarterback, although he did make the Pro Bowl. Shout out to 2015 Pro Bowl. But it's pretty simple how he's going to help out the team. When you have a guy that has this much arm talent, this much mobility, this much athleticism, coming into an offense that desperately needs the athleticism at the position, getting to throw to guys like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and have pretty good tackles in Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill, which is not something Drake had in 2023 during his final year at North Carolina. It's pretty simple how that's going to help out the Vikings. Now, personally, Silas, I will ask you your player comp, but my player comp for Drake Maye, this is kind of a lofty one, but I think he's a blend of Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. I don't think he has the crazy athleticism that Josh Allen has, where he's hurdling guys. Obviously, as a Vikings fan, we know that Josh Allen hurdled Anthony Barr back in 2018. But I think that it's a perfect blend between the two, where you see the athleticism of Allen, but you also see the insane plays under pressure that Herbert also makes. And I love that comp for Drake, especially from a size standpoint too.
Really love the comps, and actually that's pretty much exactly where I was going with it. From a throwing perspective, I would say that he's more similar to Herbert. I'd say he's a little bit more similar to Josh Allen. I like the way that they both are just not afraid to kind of throw themselves into traffic. And they're not the elusive guys, whereas like a Lamar or a Jaden Daniels type of guy they could be compared to each other. But yeah, they can run. They're quick guys. They're strong. They can go through defenders, and they can fight through contact behind the line of scrimmage. So yeah, I really love those comps.
Absolutely. Now, Silas, I did want to say I appreciate you having me on to break down Drake Maye's game. It's pretty simple where I stand on this. I'm hoping that the Commanders love the rushing floor of Jaden Daniels and that they take him at number 2 overall. And I know a lot of people will claim that they know Drake Maye is going number 2 overall, but Jaden Daniels is actually favored to go number 2 in the sports book. So there's a lot of hope that we can still snag Drake Maye at number 3.
Yeah, I'd love that. There's not a quarterback that could be available to us that I would prefer over Drake. The fact that he could be available at number 3, I think, is very interesting. And organizational preference, whatever the Commanders are going to do what they want to do. If he is available at 3, I think that we should be pretty willing to whatever it takes to get up to that spot. There's not a player that I'd rather have.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to wrap up the first breakdown of X's and O's. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts on Drake Maye, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.